All right, good morning, boys and girls. We are today going to be talking about subtracting fractions with common denominators. Yesterday we were adding fractions with common denominators. So today we're going to practice subtracting them. So we pretty much followed the same rules as we did before with adding them. So let's look at this first one, 4/6 minus 2/6. So as you can probably expect, each one of my little boxes right here is going to be a 1/6 piece. So remember, if I had 6 of these boxes, that would be one whole. But I'm just going to have 4 of them because my problem tells me that I'm starting with 4/6. So I have 4 1/6 pieces. So now I am subtracting, which means, of course, taking away 2 of those 1/6 pieces. So I'm simply just going to cross out 2 of my boxes, and that's going to let me know that I have, of course, how many left over? 2/6 pieces left over. So I'm going to have 2/6 left over. So 4/6 minus 2/6 equals 2/6. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is we are going to look at the problem 5/5 minus 3/5. So we can see down here we have our 5 1/5 pieces. Just going to quickly write that. So if you look at this whole thing together, this would actually be one whole because this would be 5 1/5 pieces. So that's the same as one whole. All right. So anyway, but we're going to make it not one whole anymore because we are supposed to be subtracting 3/5 from that. So of course we're going to just cross out 3 of our 1/5 pieces. We're going to have our 2 left over right here. So our answer is just simply going to be 2/5. All right, so for this next problem, I'm going to show you on using a circle fraction instead of like the boxes, just because I want to show you like the different ways that you might see it later on. So for this problem, we're going to do 8/8 minus 5/8. All right, so we can see on our circle here, we've got 8 total 1/8 pieces already, which is our whole circle. So we've got our 8 1/8 pieces. We've got our whole circle, so that's actually the same as 1. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take off, of course, take off 5 of them. So we're going to cross out that one, cross out that one, cross out that one, cross out that one, cross out that one. And we can see that we have, of course, here we got 1, 2, 3 left over. All right, so the answer is going to be 3 1/8 pieces, which is 3/8, and that's it. All right. All right, for this next problem, we're going to have 5/6. Ooh, I need to make that a little bit smaller. Minus 1/6. All right, so we've got our 5 1/6 pieces. We haven't completed our circle. We're missing this one piece right here. We're missing this one piece. We only have 5 of our 6 pieces. We do not have the whole like we did before. And then we're going to take away one more 1/6 piece. So we're simply just going to cross out. I'm going to use blue this time since my circle's red. Cross out a 1/6. And then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 1/6 pieces left over. So my answer would just be 4/6. All right, on this next one, we're going to look at 4/5 minus 3/5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by highlighting all the way to the 4/5 mark. And then what I'm going to do is, I can't really unhighlight that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 3 of those 1/5 sections by just crossing them out with a red marker. So I'm just going to cross that out, cross that out, cross that out, and now all we have left is simply 1/5. So our answer to that would be 1/5, because we have one 1/5 piece left over. All right, the next one I want to look at is 5/3 minus 3/3. So this is going to be a little bit trickier. So the first thing I'm going to do is just label my number line. So I'm going to label on the top with improper fractions. So I'm going to do 1/3, 2/3, which these are still proper fractions. And I'm going to do 3/3, which is the same as 1. 4/3, that's an improper fraction because the top is larger than the bottom. 5/3, another improper fraction, and 6/3, which is the same as 2. And if you'll notice, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 6/3 is another improper fraction. On the bottom, I'm going to write this with proper fractions. 1/3, 2/3, 1 is the same as 3/3. 4/3 would actually be 1, and then another 1/3. Sorry about that. And then 5/3 would be 1 and an extra 2/3. And then, of course, 2 would just be 2. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to highlight till we get to the 5/3 point, because we're starting at 5/3 and then subtracting. So I'm going to highlight until I get to the 5/3 mark down here. Just like that. I'm going to do that in a different color just so we can make sure we see clearly. All the way to the 5/3 mark. And now we are subtracting 3/3, which, if you'll notice, we're actually subtracting 1 whole. So, and if you'll notice, 5/3 is the same as 1 and 2/3 down here. So we're taking away 1 whole from 5/3, and we're taking away 1 whole from 1 and 2/3. So look what happens when we subtract this. We're going to take away 3 1/3 pieces. We're going to do this. We're going to go take that away, take that away, take that away. We've taken 3 1/3 sections away, and look where we ended up. We've ended up at an answer of 2/3. So if you'll notice, we did 1 and 2/3 minus 1 whole, and we got 2/3. Or you can look at it as we did 5/3 minus 3/3, which, remember, was the same as 1 whole, equals 2/3. So you can kind of look at that in 2 different ways. Either way, your answer is going to be 2/3. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope that that made sense, and you're starting to get a better understanding of fractions. I think fractions are really fun, so I hope you guys are enjoying them. So at this point, you need to make sure you complete your entire problem set to the best of your ability. You know, if you need to skip 1 or 2, that's okay, but make sure that you are having grit, powering through, trying to get that whole thing done, and getting that practice you need to be ready for 5th grade.